Hey, it's Rebecca here, back for episode 2.
Learning to play the flute will put you in a good mood for the rest of the day because the flute is the most cool, the most fun, the most beautiful of all instruments in the whole world. We're here to tell you you can do it, and Rebecca will show you how, step by step all along the way. She's a curly-headed blonde with a talent for teaching. Introducing the Learn Flute Podcast. Take it away, Rebecca.
Well, hi, my name is Rebecca Fuller, and welcome to this episode of the Learn Flute Podcast, where I'm here to lead you and guide you through the ins and outs and various points of interest when learning to play the musical instrument flute. Now, just a quick reminder here in case this is your first time tuning in. This podcast is companion to my website where all of the visuals, articles, and learning videos are on this URL, learnfluteonline.com. That's learnfluteonline.com, all one word. If when you're finished listening here and you're ready to get going with my step-by-step tutorials and videos, you can do so for free by signing up with your name and email right there on the front page. That will get you started and will also get you on a valuable email list where you will receive your registration information. Now, this podcast is supplemental to all of the information and lessons on that site. So, come back regularly. Put this podcast in your feed and on your phone or your iPad or computer, whatever it is that you like to listen with, and join in on the flute fun. I'm going to try not to make these episodes too long because I know you're all busy people with things to do and also an instrument to practice and discover. That way, you can have it all downloaded and ready to listen to while you're on your weekend walk or a leisure Sunday or whenever it is that you like to spend time on your own personal development. So you can calendar this and not miss a single episode. But of course, you can always go into your podcast app or in iTunes and find all of the episodes available and listen anytime at your convenience. And if you like to spread the love, tell your flute learning friends about me and what I have to offer you. This is a free resource as well as my awesome ongoing email series that you can sign up for by hopping over to my website and getting your information in the box in the sidebar. You can also find more about what I've put together for you by visiting the learnfluteonline.com site. It would be so much fun to have you join our community there. I also have premium lessons and, well, there's a wealth of information there. But without any further ado, let's get going. Now, speaking of the online community that I have inside the Learn Flute Online site, I have to tell you of an experience that I had a few days ago with one of the students in there who is really tearing it up and doing very well with the lessons that I provide. He's been extremely dedicated to keeping himself on a practice schedule, and I have to tell you that I have been very impressed with his progress. I love the progress videos that he uploads. He puts them on YouTube and leaves us all a link there in the lesson module comment boxes. And I have no doubt that all of the other students in these modules have been thrilled to see his videos and to watch his progress as well. Anyway, one particular experience from the other day is that he commented on something that he basically was saying was his big aha moment for the day. Well, here it is. I'm going to read the comment to you. He says, I practice on my current lesson and then go over all the prior pieces. And what I find is that the current lessons have somehow helped improve the lessons we've had before. I thought that was a really great comment, and so I'd like to say congratulations to this awesome student for coming to this realization that is just totally true. And it's one of the main pillars that I teach in music education. Now, just like learning any language, music has the same principles. It's not just enough to learn a new word every day. You can't just learn how to speak fluently unless all of the words are repeated many, many times and used in sentences and conversations. Well, I especially know that this is true because I've been aspiring lately to take my husband on a surprise vacation in the future. Maybe not surprise anymore if he listens to this podcast. But I'm planning on taking him back to the country of Portugal, where he lived in his early 20s. So, in preparation for this fun time, I've been attempting to learn some European Portuguese. And I do speak Spanish. I actually have a minor in Spanish, but I haven't had to use it a lot where I live. And so I've been attempting to take my knowledge of the Spanish language and transfer it to the European Portuguese language. Now, I have this app on my phone that I've been using that shows me the differences between the Spanish language and the Portuguese language. And I found that even though I totally understand what they're teaching me, I still have a hard time recalling the information when it's time to read or speak it. So, when I read this comment from this really great online student, who by the way is well into his 60s, I was reminded that we are human, and part of being human is realizing that it's not just enough to understand a set of instructions or a small pile of information. If we truly want to be able to use the skill fluently, we have to put it in our path often and use all of the pieces and parts of it in new ways as often as possible. Well, I thought it would be fun in these first few episodes of this podcast to make sure you get to hear my story, and so to extend what I told you in the last episode where I talked about dusting off the magical feeling flute case that I found in my grandpa's old root cellar. I'd like to now give you more background of how I got to where I am today as a teacher, because it's my story and I'm imagining that some of you listening may have an interesting start to playing the flute as well. I had been playing the flute for several years very regularly when a gentleman who lived in my neck of the woods came to me with a proposition. Now, I lived in a very rural area where there were only corn and wheat fields between houses, and this particular family that I'm talking about lived down the lane about 5 fields away. That's how country folk measure distance sometimes. Well, anyway, he asked me if I would do something for him that summer. Now, I was 15 years old about then, and I was excited at this proposition because it was going to be a regular paying job. And of course, what 15-year-old would pass that up? Well, he wanted me to tutor his son for the summer. Now, I already knew that I was perfect for this job, and I totally dove right in. So now I need to give you a little background on this particular boy that I was teaching, his son. He was what we would call nowadays autistic. I'm not sure if there was a name for it back then because I wasn't familiar with teaching anybody with some learning abilities and different disabilities. Anyway, his parents were so good, and they realized that he needed to continue to use, stretch, and grow his brain over the summer while school wasn't in session. So they had a variety of subjects that I was supposed to work with him on. Math and reading, spelling, and interestingly enough, they asked me to teach him music. He had never had any before, and I was organized and enthusiastic to say the least. Well, I really did have a good time that summer teaching Christian. That was his name. He was so polite, and he did really well with the schedule that I set for him. During the couple of hours that I was there each day, I would explain my expectations for each lesson to him, and then I would set the timer while we worked on it. That kept him motivated and right with me. Now, I noticed very quickly that every skill had to be broken into minute little steps so that he could grasp the concepts and start to be able to understand them. It wasn't enough just to tell him the answers and expect him to remember. I always left their home with a reverent type of a feeling, and I totally respected the way Christian's brain worked, and I was completely on a high from each of our learning sessions. I think I would just float home each time. I wanted more. And this is when I realized that I was a teacher. I totally got it, and I loved it. So that's when my teaching career began, and I haven't looked back since. Well, I'm excited to give you more details of my story because I'm sure that understanding of how I came to do what I do will help you in your journey as well. So, just as I talked about at the beginning of this episode where I shared the aha moment of one of my recent online students, remember he was letting me know and the others in the Learn Flute Online community that he was thoroughly enjoying his new understanding, that he found much improvement in his playing when he always reviewed his past lessons. So now I want to point out that this is actually a life skill and can be transferred to most and many subjects. I've worked with and still work with many learners who struggle to realize that it's even easier than they think. Following the simple steps I set for you in these lessons and then reviewing them on a consistent basis is a giant building block to your playing ability and to your happy success. My lessons build on each other, and so you'll find yourself using skills that have been mastered just prior to needing them in a new way. I'm kind of a sneaky, smart teacher in this way. I've learned so much over my last 26 years since the day I began teaching Christian. My observations and experiences have only increased and expanded since then from working closely with so many learning types, ages, sizes, and shapes. Whoever I work with, I've learned that one thing is common. We all can do it, and it's awesome. Well, in the next episode, we'll continue hearing more of my stories and discovering many important details and skills that you need in order to learn and become what you're hoping to, especially in the satisfying world of music and flute playing. So, if you have any questions, I have a transcript of everything you heard here in the show notes at this URL. learnfluteonline.com/002. Now remember that although this is the Learn Flute Podcast, anything online will be found at learnfluteonline.com. Then you can / and place the episode number there. I always am open to hearing what you think about this show, and I welcome your feedback. I am doing this for you, so if you have any ideas or anything that you'd like to hear me present on any of these podcasts, just let me know. You can send me an email at rebecca@learnfluteonline.com. Well, this is Rebecca Fuller signing off for the day, and let's make it a trend. I'll play you out.